going to take care of some really fun and exciting business before we get to the Communications Awards. I hope you guys made it down to the moonshot rocket last night. Good. What an experience. Let's just give Indian River, Florida another hand for that. All right, so, what I'm really thrilled to share with you this morning is really what you have been doing since you've arrived here. And that is sharing what's working in your communities, what you need help with in your communities, and how we're really going to solve this really solvable problem. So I'm going to go through some of the key takeaways. In the Helping Parents Succeed session, someone noted that no data without stories, no stories without data, really resonated with them. In the public sector partners session, no matter what, can you take that back? Thank you so much. No matter what, people are still underinformed about the breadth of library services and capabilities. I'm so passionate about this too. Our libraries are incredible with those maker spaces and those 3D printers, and you can even download books just from your computer and your phone from your local library. Everyone should know that. All right, next one. In the Addressing Health-Related Barriers to Attendance session, we got really, really specific and deep about, how can we capture those cost savings from programs targeted at management of chronic illness like asthma, cost savings from reduced ER visits, as well as residual savings for parents able to work. This is so important. If our children aren't healthy, they cannot learn. And so I hope if you weren't in this session that afterwards, we're going to make most of the materials available online, that you take a look at this. So it will be available for you. Next up, from the Helping Parents Succeed session on school readiness, don't assume you know what families need. Don't assume. Ask them. Develop a relationship first so that you can reach them. That's powerful. Also from that session, great session, we'll begin addressing parents in my program as co-teachers. That's right. They're brain builders. They're their own children's first teachers, and so we have to treat them as such. These takeaways are really powerful. From the prioritizing and achieving results for vulnerable populations over the summer months. How can we partner with HUD to get book-rich environments to our community? What other funding sources can our local public housing authorities tap into? This is such an amazing question. I just want to say that I've been working with the team on the Book Rich Environments Initiative. If anyone is interested in working on this initiative, reach out to me. I'll make sure you get all the resources and get connected to the webinars that we have monthly. I'm going to pivot this way so I can look at you beautiful folks. From the Tackling Chronic Absence in Small and Medium-Sized Communities session, even when our overall absence data may look good, above 96% of the district, there are students who are missing due to the way we pull data, who we need to support through a systemic plan so they don't increase, I can't see that, risk of dropping out. This is poignant. It basically says no matter how much the data shows where we are, if we're not at 100%, there's still more children we need to serve, and there's still more children we need to help. Wonderful. And from the building support systems, the pediatricians play a key role in starting the process for families to receive help. And what we are doing to systematize this across the country. What are we doing? How do we make sure all pediatricians do screenings and are paid for it? No child should show up in kindergarten with undiagnosed developmental delays if they were able to be caught. So how do we begin to bring pediatricians all across this country into our ether as champions for GLR reading? And Reach Out and Read, as you know, is doing a lot of work to make that happen. Thank you for sharing those key takeaways. We had over 130 of them. You guys are awesome. Thank you. So I have a very special communications asset I want to share with you. You went down, you saw the moonshot rocket. In our midst, we have someone who was celebrated in Iowa, Carolyn Johns. Are you here, Carolyn? Oh, yes, there she is. All right, wonderful. In the words of Deborah Jacobs, Carolyn Johns is a passionary. It's official. She's an extraordinary individual, and she was recognized by the United Way through a program that they do called the Hero Effect. She was recognized for the work that she's doing in Iowa, and I thought it would be really wonderful right here and now to show you a clip from that wonderful video called The Hero Effect featuring Carolyn Johns. In other good news, that video is going to be available on the OWN network for you to watch in July, so we'll push that out on the app. Oh, and it's online at any time, on demand at heroeffect.com. All right, roll tape, and I'll be back, okay? So that was just a preview, so you've got to go online, heroeffect.com, or watch it on OWN. I believe it's July 8th, but we'll definitely let you know. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you for telling your story. Here's the deal, folks. Each one of you in this room is a hero. Each one of you has a story. What is your story of your life, of your work? What is the story that people will remember? And what is the story that people will share? That is what communications is all about. Connecting and catalyzing people to move and act and do the things that we know will truly make a difference. So again, I say thank you to all of you. So I want to talk about those stories. We're going to do some table talks, and I reached out to all of my ComExpo finalists who should be well positioned at a table to kick it off. We're going to we're going to take some time to reflect about what's working in our own communities, what we can do better, what's inspiring us that we've seen while we've been here for the All-America City Awards. And so I'm going to give you instructions from here. We're going to, on each side of me, you see the table prompts. So if you don't happen to have a designated lead at your table, then someone just volunteer to kick it off. You know why? Because we're all leaders in this room. This is awesome. All right, so the first question is, what communications assets did you most like at the expo? What inspired you? What do you want to try to maybe potentially recreate in your community? I'd love for you to share that. And we're going to spend about 2 to 3 minutes talking about that, and then just get a few volunteers to report out. Super informal, but really, I think, impactful and helpful for all of us. All right, ready, set, go? All right. All right. Would anyone like to report out? Do we have the mics ready for the audience mics? Do I have any volunteers? Any volunteers? All right, over in the corner there. Fantastic.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We're from Worcester. Worcester's in the house. Woo! All right. One of the things that struck us was a great idea from Florida, and that is the kindergarten registration bags. We struggle, as many districts do, getting our kindergarten children registered in time for the new school year, and we want to accelerate that. And the idea of having a special bag of goodies for that incentivizes parents, there it is, woo-hoo! Was excellent.
All right, anyone else? I'll take 1 or 2 more. Nobody? Everybody's quiet. Is it the morning? Where's your cup of joe? All right. So we're going to go to our next quick prompt. We're going to. Oh, we have one. Awesome.
We were just sharing that PBS has been a wonderful partner in our state of Arkansas. We were talking about that with assisting with delivering bilingual books and reading charts and kid activity booklets that they can take away in the summer, and so they have been very instrumental, and we so appreciate PBS.
Awesome. Thank you. Do we have one more? Oh, right over here. Over here?
The Philadelphia Book Nooks. I don't know if everyone saw them, but they are super cute, going around the city and just creating book centers, and where kids can read in barbershops and in laundromats, and it's a great idea.
Awesome. Thank you, Joy. They are super cute. And they do a great job branding the Nooks and letting folks know that the events are happening so they get good turnout, too. All right, so really quick, back to our prompts. We're going to combine these two just because of time. So when we do our report outs, you're welcome to report out on either if your table gets to both. What do you think your community could do better to communicate your work? You guys are all doing a great job, but if you had to really push to the next level, I'm sure you've seen grade level reading materials that have the word draft on it. That's a signature Rouse Smith thing because he knows that you can always push to refine something. It's never final, right? There's always something better. What communication strategies in your community are really the most effective in terms of your time, in terms of the costs, in terms of the outcomes? So where are you finding that? If you focus on this, you're really getting the biggest bang for your time and buck. All right, so I'm going to give you guys about another 3 minutes, and then we'll report back. Sound good? Great. All right, I would love to hear from you. Do we have some volunteers? Do we have some volunteers that want to share what you've been discussing? We have our mics ready. I'm so excited that you guys are excited about comms. I feel like I got to take a lot of notes. I should have been roaming around the tables. All right, who do we have? Awesome.
Hi. We talked a lot about the importance of getting video out there because video is the medium that goes viral. You know, you never know what's going to go viral. So the more video you get out there, the more you have an opportunity to get something in your community that will have a huge impact.
That is so true. Thank you so much. I'm glad we started with video this morning to punctuate that point. And one quick note about video that I would give advice around is that it doesn't have to be super polished. I think a lot of the videos that you saw in the expo were really polished. But organic video, when you're capturing the moment, can go as viral or even more viral than the ones you spend thousands of dollars on and hire a film crew to do. So, you know, even just whipping out the iPhone and capturing video can be really, really impactful. And putting that video in what we call snackable sized, content uploads. So you don't need a 15-minute video to get every point across, but just enough to pull people in and want to share it with others. Even 20-second, 30-second videos can have such power. Thank you. Anyone else?
So good morning, I'm Amy Neal from Louisville, Kentucky, Metro United Way, and what we talked about was communication, but it also bled into a couple other areas, was within this work how interesting it is sometimes where we invest, and oftentimes we don't invest in messaging and communication when that's so critical because the work is so difficult to talk about. But then you didn't ask for this, but we also talked about how we don't invest often in capacity and then data and evaluation, but they all sort of go together.
Yeah, thank you. You know, balancing where you spend your funds and making sure, we try to do that in life, balance and moderation. The same should be applied to when you're thinking about how to budget for your communications. So thank you. Anyone else? You guys were so talkative. I know there's a lot else in this room. Who's next is really the question. Who's next? I'm going to start calling on people, all my Comms Expo folks. Let me see. Who do I see? I see Tracy over there. Okay.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
One thing we were discussing was...
Name, where you're from?
My name is Macklin. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. One thing we were discussing was the use of billboards on buses, things like that, finding out who those people are in your community that are local and not necessarily using the word popular, but for lack of a better term, that are popular, to be able to also promote things that you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. That's right. Your voice box is for you. So I want to say thank you to Roanoke. I've read that Roanoke baby book to my son many a night, so thank you. And so now he's like, where's Roanoke? So he's 4, so now I have to take him to Roanoke, and that's going to happen. All right, anyone? Oh, who's next? That's my question, not anyone else. Who's next? I'd love 1 or 2 more before we close out our table talks. You guys were talking a ton. Why, I can't believe you're so shy during the comms segment. Let me see. Oh, good.
Hey there, Sydney from Atlanta. I just wanted to piggyback on the question or the point about budgets over there. We sometimes get some pushback on investing in communication, so we've tried really hard to frame that as sort of what are we getting for that? What's our return on investment? If we're able to recruit 2 or 3 more children, then sort of that gives us that value.
Thank you. All right, great.
I just want to stress the idea that social media is fantastic. It's a great way to meet particularly your core target audience, but it's also important to work with your local brick and mortar traditional media organizations, because your funders, your people in business, and your older people who might have the money to donate or the time to donate, they're all reading the newspaper still, unlike some people. So work with your local media organizations to tell really interesting stories that, tug at the heartstrings of people who might be interested in giving back.
Oh my gosh, that is so, so true. And, your local ed board teams, you should know them all and push if you don't know them, to meet them and tell them your story, tell them the work you're doing, tell them why it's important. When we landed here in Denver, the Enterprise GLR team, I took Ron Fairchild with me. I took Becky from from Iowa, our state lead from Iowa. Ames Claimer. We went down to the Denver Post. We met with the ed board, and I told the team, hey, I don't know what we're going to get out of this immediately. That's a tangible, but I know that we're going to start building this relationship. And so we all woke up on, what day was that, Ron? Was that Tuesday, Wednesday morning? And we had an op-ed in the Denver Post all about us being here. Woo-hoo! So it pays off. It pays off. And I've received emails immediately in my inbox saying, I just saw the article. So thanks for that. Anyone else before we close out our table talks? All right, so speaking of communications and bus ads, I've got live PSAs to do right now. So my first live PSA is for my peeps at the National Summer Learning Association. They are working really, really hard to get ready for National Summer Learning Day. I'm sure many of you have participated in this. Last year, Michelle Obama did their PSA, and this year they're working even harder to spread the message even farther about the importance of keeping kids learning and reading during the summer. So if you don't already have plans in your community for anything related to this, get a plan. If you do, make sure you get on their map. They have an interactive way of connecting what every community around this country is doing. So please. And then in September, when school starts, I know school just got out. I know many of you have been attending graduations, but it's always great to start thinking ahead. Hetty Chang and her crew from Attendance Works are ready for you. So we have flyers. So let me tell you, this year's attendance awareness campaign is going to be all the way live and amazing. And everybody in this room is going to participate because Hetty's going to find you if you don't. Okay? There is no child in this country that shouldn't be a butt-in seat every single day they're in school. I have a really funny story, and I think I showed Hetty this, but when I first joined the campaign, I told my husband the 3 focus areas, and he's like, explain to me chronic absence again. So he basically grew up in Miami, went to public school, and he was like, I didn't know there was an option. And so by the time he graduated from high school, he had a plaque from the school board. He had never missed a day from preschool all the way through high school. Never missed one day of school. So he didn't understand. I was like, let me explain. So this is possible, that you can go to school every single day of your academic career. All right, one quick note about Attendance Awareness Month, which kicks off in September, but technically starting even now, there are webinars. Get on Attendance Works website, check out the webinar schedule so you know all about everything that's happening. Really, really important. We want to get your superintendents connected to this effort and signed on to the call to action. So you can definitely help with that. I have one more plug from my beloved colleague, Yoli Flores. I want in your hands, in your suitcases, and at your desk when you get home, this gorgeous parent brief, which is all about the latest and greatest research and reports that tell us what we need to know about supporting parents and being successful in supporting their children. So this is a hot, hot document. Ooh, my hands are burning. Ooh, so hot. All right. So make sure you get that. Was that good, Yoli? Where's Yoli? Okay, all right. Oh, the main point. You know, I used to work for someone that used to say, keep the main thing the main thing. She wants you on her webinar. Yoli will stalk you. She will cyber stalk you if you don't sign up. It is going to be on June 26th, and it's going to tell you all about this report and how it will be useful to your work in your community. It's not just a, hey, isn't it great we wrote this? It's a really practical webinar about making this applicable to your work. Please attend. We will be sending you emails. I do cyber stalk you via our email, so you'll be getting that, okay? All right.